Abduction, Chapter 7, Part 2. I looked through the glass toward the track to see two 20-something girls jogging around the circle. They seemed to be having a conversation as they ran, but when I looked for the man in the reflection, he had left. "Excuse me," said a feminine voice from behind me with a Slavic accent. I saw the reflection of Natasha standing close to the treadmill, which I promptly turned off. "Yes?" "Mr. Volkov would like to meet with you," said Natasha. Valery had underestimated how well this girl could speak English. Other than the accent, her English was well spoken. I dismounted the treadmill once the belt had stopped moving. "Who is Mr. Volkov?" I asked with a suspicion. "Mr. Volkov is the owner of the club. Was he the man that was standing next to you a moment ago?" "Yes, if you like to follow me now to his office." I was the guest of Valery, a man I had just met the night before, and now the owner of the place where he worked wanted to meet me in his office. This was surprising and more than just a coincidence, or so my senses were telling me. It could just be my charming appearance that drove random people to want to talk with me, but I didn't think so. "Okay, lead the way," I said with a smile of nervousness. Natasha looked at me with a smile in her eyes that never touched her lips. I felt like I had done something very pleasing without moving a muscle. It made me wonder if she might get in trouble if I said no. It was just the first chance I had to see Natasha not behind a desk. She was fit and looked even more beautiful than my first impression. Natasha could be a front-page model in any magazine. Natasha turned and walked toward the door that read something in Russian that I could only guess said office. I was expecting the room behind the door, but it led down a hallway. Rational thought kept me calm until this sliver of trepidation crept its way into my brain. I wondered what was going to happen to me. The moment of truth arrived. We stopped in front of another door. The odds of this being another hallway were slim, but I was correct. Natasha opened the door for me to enter. We made eye contact and smiled softly. This made Natasha blush before she pointed for me to enter. Her smile made me wonder what kind of life she had outside of working at the gymnasium. "Come in, Richard," said Valery in his usual happy-go-lucky voice. "I would like you to meet Maxim Volkov." I looked at the man behind the desk. It was the same man that had been standing with Natasha earlier. Maxim Volkov sat behind a desk with his fingers were meeting in a steeple in front of his chest. A chill ran through me. It was like I was meeting the godfather of Ukraine. I don't know if I should get down on one knee and kiss his ring or say a silent prayer because I was about to meet my maker. "Welcome, Richard Daniels," said Maxim Volkov. "Please, have a seat." There was one chair in front of the desk, and I politely took a seat while Valery shut the door. Now it was me versus two Ukrainians. I wondered what would happen next. But that was answered by Maxim lowering his hands and leaning back into his chair. He tilted his head as if he were studying me for a moment. "Valery tells me that you are a UFO enthusiast," said Maxim. "I wouldn't say I'm an enthusiast," I replied. "I would call myself a believer, but never an enthusiast." "Is there a difference?" asked Maxim. "I wanted to say that a believer would not go around chasing UFOs, but I was out in an open field last night looking for a flying saucer. Maxim would know this. So if I opened my mouth now, I would look like I was an idiot." "I suppose not," I replied. "So why did you invite me into your office?" Maxim grinned. "I would like some information from you. It has come to my attention that you have experience with aliens and their spaceships. Valery has said nothing about this to me, about this matter. I have connections that have told me that you know more than you are saying, in case you were wondering." I had no idea that this would be an inquisition when I walked down the hall toward the office. If that's all Maxim Volkov wanted, then who was I not to tell him what I knew? I would, but that would be going against my word to the Belarusian spy organization. Maxim was an agent sent to see if I would keep my word, for all I knew. "I've seen a few alien spacecraft. What of it?" I said. Maxim sighed, and his fingers went back to being a steeple in front of his chest. "Valery has said as much, but I am looking for much more from you. What experience do you have with alien contact?" "I don't know what you mean by alien contact." "It is my understanding that you are to give an interview to a local reporter." I was surprised that Maxim knew this. "That's right." "And what of it?" Maxim relaxed again. "Tell her nothing." "Nothing?" "She is a dangerous woman, Mr. Daniels. You are not familiar with how deceptive our women can be when they think they can get something from you." Echo and my meeting with Masha Ivanovna did not go perfectly. The vibes I got from the reporter were not pleasant. To hear Maxim's warning agreed with my feelings about Masha Ivanovna. I sensed that not everything was right with her, but Maxim was utterly wrong about Slavic women. I have very little information to give you, Miss Ivanovna. If I have seen UFOs in Belarus, that I cannot deny what I have seen, but beyond that, I have nothing to say, I said as I leaned back in my chair, comfortable that I had stated the truth. Maxim smiled, placed his hands on the desk, and then stood to reach out a hand for me to shake. Thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy my club. My aide will see you to your needs while you are here. Feel welcome and ask for anything. Valery will see to it. I was dumbfounded my interview was over. I could not believe for a minute that a man like Maxim Volkov believed the word I spoke. He was clearly more than just a business owner, or had at least been something else before coming to own a business in eastern Ukraine. Thank you for your hospitality, I said, not knowing what else to say, and shook Maxim's hand. I hope we meet again, said Maxim as he released my hand. Valery held the door, which allowed me to leave and escape the bizarre interview. My return to Eastern Europe was turning out to be as weird as my first.